Sorry about the late deliveries on the videos. I am still working on the video for the trip back home. That is 2 hours of uncut raw video that I have to go through. I'm also working on a project of my own, which I will not be announcing name or date of release or anything like that. I am working on helping my co-host for the Saturday morning live streams, Joe, with his project. So there's been a lot going on. I'm really glad that you guys keep turning up for these weekly readings, because I'm going to do this one just a little bit different. This one's not going to be the typical full reading. Now, if you would like a full reading, links in the description below. You can go to any of my wish lists. Anything $35 or under will get you 2 readings and a birthday reading. Anything over that will get you 5 and a birthday reading. I am actually going, normally that's the way I'd present it. However, I know that the prices on everything's going up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust it. And I'm going to adjust it to kind of maximize it a little bit for you. And so here it is. Anything $45 and under, actually anything $35 and under will still get you 2 readings and a birthday reading. If you do purchase anything over $35, and we're talking like MSRP, actual retail value or whatever, what I will do is I will give you more than 5. So what we'll do is we'll give you, I think, what's a fair price? What's a fair shake here? Actually, let me be a little more than fair. What I'll do is I'll actually double it, because I usually do four readings and a birthday reading. I will give you 8 readings and a birthday reading. You know what? What I'll do is I'll up the ante on the $35 tier. 5 readings and a birthday reading for that as well, because I think if you're spending your money to send me something in these hard times, and you do not have to, let me be clear, I very rarely get things. When I do, I appreciate them. I still owe some people some readings, so if you're one of those people, request one at any time and we'll work something out. However, that is not required at all. If you really want to support this channel, I'll tell you what you do. You do all the little things. You hit subscribe, you share this out with friends, maybe someone else needs it. In fact, that would do more for this channel than simply sending me stuff. Simply sending me stuff is nice, but it's not required. Not at all. And you can continue to enjoy these readings, which are absolutely free, cost me nothing to do, and I just want to show my appreciation when you guys get me a gift, and I want to give something, I want to give a little something back. That's how that works. Alright? And most times, I'll be honest with you, if you're looking at my wish list, most of the things on there are kind of placeholders, and I'm probably just going to buy myself anyway. So, if you purchase it for me, I'm definitely going to give you something back, right? I think that's only fair. Alright, so, here's how we're going to do this. We're still going to go with a guide, so I'll go ahead and lay that one out right now. We're also going to go with, there's our guide. Or actually, that's going to be our significator. This is going to be our guide. I'm going to move these over because I've got some extra that I'm going to do. Still going to have our spirit animal. Oops. Seems there were 2 that wanted to come out, but only 1 will remain today. And here's what else we're going to do. We're going to ask... We're going to kind of go inside ourselves with the Starseed Oracle and try to figure out how we can maximize our energy to better benefit us and the people around us. And we're also going to be asking questions of our ancestors. So we'll put that right here. That will be the question that we ask of our ancestors, which is, what do we need to know for this week? Finally, oh, don't worry, I'm not forgetting the runes. We also have Monday, Tuesday, actually, you know what? Nope. Friday, Saturday. So we will be having Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Actually, you know what? I'm going to move these down just a bit. I'm going to kind of make some room here. There we go. space for one more card there. And we're going to have Friday, Saturday, since we are doing this for the week, Sunday, Monday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And then we'll reconvene for the next reading. And then finally the runes, which we will have coming up right now. Just 3 little runes to reflect on past, present, and future events, and we'll see what comes of it. Now, also, if you decide that you would like some card readings, or you would like to gift some card readings, that's fine. You can choose any configuration you like. They're your readings, after all. Alright, so let's get down to it. So who are we? On his own day we have Thor. Now we are being told that we are in a rut right now. I know some people who are in a rut. Did you know that when you're in a rut, the bad news is, well, it's your own fault? And sometimes that's the good news too. Because it means whatever you've gotten yourself into, you can get yourself out of. You can fight your own battles. And you can achieve very, very glorious victory. But it's going to come with a little bit of sacrifice. So I hope you're ready for that. But we all know Thor moves with bombastic force. And we also know that when Thor shows up, the storm cannot consume you if you are the storm. Seeing as how we're doing this like a weekly forecast, that's actually pretty apropos, don't you think? Alright, how are we being guided? By a rune? Uh-oh. Well, we're being guided by a rune. Nalthes. Seems I got a card or two mixed up here. And I just want to make sure that these cards are runes. And just taking a look at them for just a second to make sure, and we're good. Okay. But Nalthes is going to be our guide. And Nalthes is one of those runes that I really love because it tells us that we are about to embark on something really glorious, but it's going to take focusing on some priorities. So you really need less than you think right now. So here's the thing. It's about moderation. It really is, because now you have to focus on what you need versus what you want. You ever heard there's a song by the Rolling Stones, it's called You Can't Always Get What You Want. And the chorus ends with, but if you try sometimes, you just might find you get what you need. And that's really it. That's really all you need. Believe it or not, even though I have a library of RPG books, do you know that I could get away with having just one of those books? And on top of that, at this very moment in time, I've actually looked at my my books, and I see a lot of different books out there, a lot of them that I would love to have. However, I've settled on something that when it comes to fantasy games, I really don't need another book. And there are really good games out there. Games that friends of mine have recommended, and because of their recommendations, I would recommend them, like Adventure Conqueror King System, or ACKS. That is one I would probably recommend. However, do I need another fantasy book? No. I've got everything I need to create whatever I want, to create a world that you can then explore as a player. In fact, this has been stated over and over again by John the Basic Expert. His desert island book would be Dungeons & Dragons Rules Cyclopedia, because that book alone has everything you need to actually play official D&D for many, many years to come. And if you throw Wrath of the Immortals in, because it is a free PDF, hey, guess what? You got even more than what you need. Just so happens I have about like 3 or 4 editions of Dungeons and Dragons official. Do I really need them all? No. A lot of them are pretty much historical significance to me, because I've always wondered, when I played 2nd edition, what was 1st edition like? What were all these things I kept seeing in the back of comic books, right? So now what you need to do is you need to look around you, take stock of your resources, and even though Thor comes across like a raging, sledgehammer, with emphasis on the hammer, sometimes not every problem is a nail. Key thing to remember. So focusing on nature, because let's live in tune with nature and not against it, right? We have the bee spirit, which tells us sweet results await. So if you can moderate yourself, if you can negotiate certain things rather than just coming across like a firebomb at times, guess what? You may not get what you want, but you will get what you need. And that's all you can really ask at times. So, how do we do that? How do we moderate ourselves? How do we find that fine line between blast off and slow it down? You need to start setting some clear boundaries, and you need to insist upon them. You need to understand that even though there are people out there that pretty much despise you right now, for whatever reason, there are always going to be people that do that. But there are also people that love you to death and will do anything for you. They will step in and support you, but you need to establish a few boundaries. Keep your focus. That's a big one. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the the Queen of Pentacles in reverse today. Our ancestors are also telling us, it might be time to drop your shields. Now's not the time to be on the defensive. Don't get on the back foot. That is a big message that's been coming across to me lately. Do not go on the back foot. When someone wants to come at you like a sledgehammer, step aside. As Mr. Miyagi once said in his very wise words in The Karate Kid 2, the best way, or was it the best result to not get a punch is don't be there? I think it is. Let me look up that quote just real quick. So Mr. Miyagi, don't be there. Let me get the exact quote, and then we'll go on. Okay, so here's a very, there you go, 25 Mr. Miyagi quotes. And Mr. Miyagi was known for being wise and very honest. And one of them, for man with no forgiveness in heart, life worse punishment than death. And first learn to stand, then learn to fly. Nature ruled, Daniel-san, not mine. And sometimes what heart know, head forget. Let's see, not in there, unfortunately. But here we go. And here's well, it was from the swinging drum thing, and Daniel nearly gets himself killed, and Mr. Miyagi's like, Daniel-san, you alright? And he said, yeah, I'm sorry, it was pretty stupid, wasn't it? And he said, Miyagi say the same thing to Father when the same thing happened. Father agreed it was stupid. Father was right. But he said, best defense, I think it's best defense, remember, best block, no be there. That's it. So the best boundary for someone coming at you full steam is literally walk away. Just don't be there. If they have nothing to punch, then they're just throwing their fists, they're flailing like mad, right? and everybody can see what kind of an idiot they are. Now, let's look at tomorrow. So tomorrow, well actually tomorrow, yeah, tomorrow. Got a King of Swords upright. And this means you're going to have to master your thoughts. This means you're going to have to keep your thoughts pretty much in line. You're going to have to learn how to get them together and express them. You're going to have to deal with conflict on a mental level. This does not mean employing mental gymnastics. That is not an Olympic sport. No matter how hard you try, your Friday is going to be all about really listening and then proposing a more intelligent response than what you would normally be accustomed to having. You know, I was watching Brad Williams, the comedian. He's a little guy, and he said that his father bullied him, but did it the right way. Now, how did that happen? He made fun of him, and then when he would start to break down, he said, "No, you need to come back with something. If you have a comeback, you will earn respect." And so his first day of kindergarten, he said, "I felt like a trained assassin. I walked in there going, I hope somebody fucks with me." And someone did. This kid ran up to him and went, "Ha ha, you're little." And he said, "Ha ha, your parents don't live with each other anymore." And this kid started crying. And he was sent to the office. And of course his dad supported him. He said, "I made my dad proud that day. I got Chuck E. Cheese." Which, you have to see that bit, because you have to understand there's more to it than that. Far more than I can really go into. But I do recommend watching Brad Williams and listen to him talk about his dad. And listen to how what his dad did molded and shaped him into the man he is today. Seriously, you have to prepare yourself for either the world that is or the world that should be. And I'm going to parrot that quote from him for just a little bit. The world that should be is a very nice world. It means we're not rude to each other, we're not impatient with each other, there's no murder, there's no rape, there's no violence, there's no Justin Bieber. I'm ripping that off from him. But that's not the world we live in. So you have to deal with adversity as it comes, but you don't always have to be the big hammer smashing everything. You see? It's coming. And plus, kind of focusing on what you need at the moment rather than what you want. It's going to pay off. Saturday, got a Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So it looks like tides are turning, but not in your favor at the moment. And that's where your negotiation skills are going to come into play, because negotiating things instead of just hammering things can really work out for you. Sunday, got a Seven of Swords. Here's what we're going to learn. Life is not always fair. It's not. But again, what we're looking at is we're looking at a forecast of adversity. But again, storm can't consume you if you are the storm. You're going to encounter some very unfair things. Now, how do you deal with it? My suggestion, and this is just one of those things that I like to do, I like to kind of fade into the background as much as possible. You know why? Because if I'm not getting noticed for doing something well, I'm going to fade in the background, and I'm going to make sure no one notices me for a while. But you will notice me eventually, and by then it'll be too late. And you will have been the one to do all the damage. I recommend that. Monday. This is a good burden to have, believe it or not. Monday is going to be all about the problems, but you're going to have to understand where the opportunities come. You are going to have all of your tools at your disposal that day. However, it's going to be up to you to implement them properly. Tuesday, not a whole lot of celebrating to talk about. This is where you're a little too tired. The business end of things isn't quite going all that well, I don't think. And that's the thing that you need to understand, is if you've been a little hyper-focused on the business end of things, it's probably time to pull back, at least a little. However, we can also look at this as the end of the disappointment, the toil, the end of the troubles, a suspension of all that. So it looks like you're ramping up till Tuesday, and Tuesday is where it's all going to kind of just lay off a little bit. And then we call this the soulmate card, the Two of Cups. This is really emotional fulfillment. So what I'm seeing is, I do see that you have a definite, and I hate this term, you have allies, you have people on your side, you have people that are ready to go all in. Here's the problem. If you don't express it properly, it's going to take time for some to process it. But if you express it properly, you'll have immediate people, boom, at your side. And then you will have others inevitably who need time to process it. And then they will come when they see, okay, this is what that person meant. Okay, I'm in, yeah, totally. Sorry I doubted you. And you have to be ready to accept that. Remember, man with no forgiveness in heart, life is a worse punishment than death. Alright. Finally, the runes. We have Urus. We have Thurisaz, of course. And then we have Ansus. Isn't it amazing? Because the Urus means that we need to be absolutely strong. We need to be able to stand upright, and we need to be able to speak truth. Not our truth. Truth. Fact. Nothing else. Because facts stand on their own. They do not require force. Let's remember that. There is no growth without struggle. Let me put it to you this way. For a lot of people, they do not know what this means. They don't know what to do because they've been raised for the world that should be, not for the world that is. And they have no idea what to do. Like I just did when I tripped over my words there. They have no idea what to do when adversity suddenly hits. They panic, they freeze, and they start freaking out. They have no idea. It's what happens when people have been sheltered for far too long. They have no idea what to do. Oh my goodness, what is this? I mean, I know what to do sometimes, and it's just to kind of bite my tongue and keep my mouth shut. In fact, that happens a lot. However, I'm always communicating, and that's what leads us to Ansus, the breath. Here's the thing. If you know how to express things properly, you will win. And you won't have to be so forceful. You can negotiate, you can become a very verbal warrior and win. We're still looking at that bee spirit. The bee spirit's telling us, yeah, we're going to go through a storm. But we have to be that eye of the storm. Have you ever been in the eye of a hurricane? It's pretty calm. It's really calm inside that eye. But you're going to go through a lot until you hit the eye wall. Then you're through. In fact, the best summary I can give you of this entire reading right now is that I want you to go out and I want you to take a look at any very beautiful flower. Just go out and find one today. At some point, go out. I want you to look at it. Really focus on it. Because here's what I want you to realize. It started as just a seed. That seed got buried. And it has had dirt, it has had water, and it has had shit. And we're talking literal shit. Decaying organic matter, compost. It has had to push through all of that to become what you see. If you cannot find flowers, I want you to find the first crack in concrete somewhere. Find that first crack in your driveway or on the sidewalk and see how many blades of grass are growing through it. Oh sure, it's buried, doesn't it? But eventually it peeks through. Weed whackers come and they just tear it all up all the time. Edgers come and they trim along those edges just to make it look nice. And then what happens? It inevitably grows back. It comes back. This is going to be your biggest comeback, but you're going to have to drop the shields for a little while. You're going to have to face the storm head on. And that's really all I have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for staying with these readings. Thank you for rocking with us from the beginning, or even if you just started today. I'll tell you what, would you do me a favor and just kind of share this with your friends? If your friends are going through a really hard time, share this with them. Because I need to let them know something. I love you all. Take care of yourselves and each other. Always do what lights you up, and as always, shine on. Okay, a little post-credit scene. I'm going to show you the stuff you really don't get to see that much. Remember, best block, no be there. Here we go. So, get a picture of this. Send it over to the computer. And this is a lot of what I got to do. Send that over. Put a large size one on. Send that. There we go. Has been sent. Excellent. Now I got to do some cleanup. So a lot of this is going to be kind of boring, but I'll be talking to you throughout. See, we need to address something, ladies and gentlemen. The fact that there are people out there that love nothing more than to control you. When I say that this channel is out there seeking warriors, people who are ready to, take up their own responsibilities and say, you know what, that's not going to be me, no thank you. I can think for myself, I can read for myself, I can do all of that for myself. That's the kind of people I'm looking for. I'm not asking any of you to believe 100% what I'm telling you. That's the trick. I'm here to just give you information and you'll do with it what you damn well please. And it's my sincerest hope that many of you will take that into consideration. But we're going to need strength. We're going to need to be the strong, there's let me just kind of veer off a little bit. There's an old saying that you're not really aware of how strong you are until you have no choice but to be that strong. And I hope that many of you will take that up, do with it what you will. You may not have a choice but to take a breath and just soldier on. You may not have a choice but to deal with the situation, then kind of go somewhere and just be like, "Grr." I know I've had those moments. I've had a lot of those moments. People ask me how do I maintain a level of patience with some people, and I'm like, really, I don't. I'm going to admit that fault right here, right now. I don't. Because when I get a moment to myself, I am like flying. See, there's something I do keep in mind. And when people are lecturing me or trying to sell me on some idea they have that I just don't think is all that wonderful, I have to remember I am getting paid by the hour to be here. If it wasn't going to happen to me, it was going to happen to somebody else. And you know what? I know one of my coworkers has had a real, I think it was Kevin Bloody Wilson, who said he's had an absolute cunt of a day. And I mean that. Like there was one day this past week where he just could not seem to catch a break. Let me tell you, there are days where I know that feeling all too well. It's like, if you just give me a minute, right? And for some reason, to many people, the words "give me a minute" are kind of anathema to them. They're just super impatient. They need to know everything right here, right now. These are the type of people that, in my opinion, would buy a movie ticket and demand to know the ending before going to see the movie, or demand to know the ending before buying the ticket. It's like, that's senseless. I know we live in a culture of instant gratification, but it's one that, like I said, if you ever want a patience builder, real simple. Start ordering RPG books. Order them directly from the company or from Lulu, or, you know, wherever there are print-on-demand services, or just even direct buying from the website. And I'm going to tell you this much right now. Some of them take about a week and a half to reach you. Some of them take a little longer. First time I ordered from Lamentations of the Flame Princess website, I ordered Book of Antitheses, and that one took almost 2 weeks to get here. As a matter of fact, when I ordered, there we go, I got a nice little notification from FedEx that my package was on the way, and I had no idea what it was. It had no real point of origin, so I was kind of like trying to research it and find out what is this. And then the night that it arrived, I of course was at work, and I came home, and let's just say I opened it very carefully, and I found it was my book, and was happy. So I had to wait a while for it to come in. When I'm ordering from Lulu, it takes about a week and a half for the books to get here, because they need time to print them, they need time to pack them, and then they need time to arrive, no matter how close the printing factory is. The thing that I will urge all of you today: practice a little patience. Trust your process. Don't get frustrated if things don't pan out immediately. It's like weight loss. You didn't gain it overnight, and you're not going to lose it overnight. And if you need support, learn how to ask for it. It's okay. Not everybody can do it on their own. And anyone who tells you, "Oh, I did it all on my own," they're lying. Alright? I love you guys. I just want you guys, I want the best for you guys. Right? All of you out there watching this channel right now, that's all I want for you. You know, fuck the wish list, fuck anything else. If you're getting something from these readings, or you're getting something from our little talks, or you're getting something from the live streams, that's it. That's why I don't monetize this thing. But the free ways to support the channel are still there. Just like, share, subscribe, do all those little things. Hey, you never know. Especially on YouTube. You start hitting like, and that algorithm gets wind of it. Maybe we can spread that. We can spread this kind of mentality to others too. Maybe have them take a little more control of their lives. It's hard. It's difficult. It's not going to happen overnight. But every one of our little drops in the bucket helps. If you're trying to weather a storm, what better way to do it than with people you know and trust? And if you're doing that, no one can control you, can they? Not even on a fundamental level. Let's try for a world like that. Let's try to make it the world that should be. But let's prepare ourselves for the world that is. Alright? Love you. Take care.